What is going on, guys? Welcome to this video. My name is Cameron and it is genuinely far too hot to make this video, but I'm going to set on fire mid-video. It's fine. So today we're jumping into the review for Web Warriors. Wait, what? So today we're jumping into the review for the Amazing Spider-Man Civil War issue 2, I think it was. Now in the previous issue we saw Clayton. That's his name. Oh my god, I got stared on my shirt. So in the previous issue we saw Clayton was going to turn into a bad guy again. He was going to face up against Spider-Man, and the events that are coming up to that and turning him into a villain again aren't exactly known until now. It is actually revealed in this issue and it's pretty awesome, but it's also like, you really feel for Clayton's character, so we might as well get into this review, see what's happening, and yeah, let's do it. So, opening up the issue, we get thrown into the action right from the get-go with Spider-Man fighting this mechanized robot of some sort. And yes, once again, Spider-Man is here because Ulysses had a vision of this robot going crazy, destroying half the city or something like that. And what I love about this interaction is Spider-Man is actually using the knowledge that he's gained from Parker Industries to take down this robot. So Spider-Man actually knows how this robot works because obviously he owns Parker Industries, so he's gained some knowledge on this sort of technology and all this. It's just awesome to see Spider-Man bringing that side of his alter ego, I suppose, into his Spider-Man life, so it's really interesting. Now, if I've got this correct, these guys that are actually in this mechanical suit don't actually know that they're going to blow up the city. Like, some sort of malfunction happens with the robot and that's what destroys the city. So technically, Spider-Man didn't only save the civilians' lives, but he also kind of saved the lives of the people inside the robot as well. So it's kind of like a win-win situation, but not for the guys in the robot since they're going to jail. But still, it's better than being dead. Anyway, as we get further into the issue, we end up bumping into Clayton, and of course someone else that bumps into him is one of his old enemy work allies or colleagues or something like that, and that is such a bad sign because already right there, he's kind of having his foot in the door back to being a villain again, especially coming from the influence of other people that he used to work with. And I love how the comic kind of throws him in there like that, you know, throwing him back into that situation, and it's almost like foreshadowing what is to come. Like, sure, at the beginning of the day, he miraculously just bumps into one of his old villain work allies, and then to step it up a notch, we actually get introduced to Clayton's parents, and they are not the most supportive people in the world. Like, honestly, they seem to be beating him down all the time, saying that the job that he does he isn't getting enough credit for and stuff like this, kind of influencing him to do bad things like have a go at his boss and stuff. And then to really top it off, his girlfriend breaks up with him. Now, he was completely ready to propose to her, to marry her, all this awesome stuff, but she kind of just drops him. Now, obviously, it seems like a good reason considering it's for her child, but the reason behind it, like, entirely, is so that Clayton's, like, bad past doesn't rub off on her kid. And that's just kind of beating Clayton down even more into the ground than he already is. Not to mention she broke up with him, so that's, like, way worse. Eventually, this leads Clayton onto the path of wondering who this Ulysses kid is, wondering why he's so special, why is he hanging out with Spider-Man all of the time, and why does he have access to like special places that Clayton doesn't, and he's an employee at Parker Industries. And inevitably causes Clayton to do some shady stuff such as sneak into private areas, use technology that is still in prototype stage and stuff like this, and he completely flips off the handle when he hears about this kid that can see the future, and it seems like that's similar to what Bruce Banner did in Civil War 2 issue 3. Like, when he was told that he was going to freak out as the Hulk in the future, he also got a little bit angry as well. Well, actually he got a lot angry. So it seems like this is a regular reaction to hearing that your future is you going crazy, and so it happened with Clayton when he freaked out, and it also happened with Bruce Banner. So I'd probably say the best way to go around this is not to tell the people that they are going to go crazy in the future, because that inevitably leads them to go crazy, and in worst case scenario, die. Now, obviously, Spider-Man didn't actually get the chance to tell Clayton that it's him that freaks out and becomes a villain, because he freaked out before he even managed to tell him, and it seems like all of the stress and everything in Clayton's life, all the aspects of his life, are all coming tumbling down. His girlfriend, his parents don't like him, his job, he doesn't think he's getting paid well enough, he doesn't think he's getting enough credit, and the issue further foreshadows Clayton becoming a villain again when he goes back to this bar where all these other criminals go or something crazy like that. And so it seems like Clayton has more than a foot in the door to becoming a villain again. And something else that I love about this issue is that Peter Parker is actually trying to give Clayton a raise, give him more credit, and sort of help him through this. And the part that I love is that Peter Parker knows that Spider-Man can't do anything in this situation, but maybe Peter Parker can, and so he tries that. But of course, the comic cliche has to come into it where you can't get hold of the person. Peter cannot contact Clayton fast enough to let him know that he's got a raise and all this awesome stuff. And again, I found it really interesting how Harry was involved in this as well, especially because he has a villain past, so he knows exactly what Clayton is going through, and I'm hoping that Harry is included in it further in the future to maybe bring Clayton back down to earth and make him realise that he can still redeem himself. Now, coming up to the final page of the issue, we're jumping back over to Clayton. It's a fresh start, and it's more or less suggesting that it's a fresh start for Clayton, especially because he shaved his face. Like, that's what usually people do when they're having a fresh start. Like, they'll shave, they'll change the look a little bit, clean themselves up. And then Clayton has this awesome new villain costume, ready to take on Spider-Man and ready to become a villain again. And I cannot wait to see what happens. It's going to be crazy. And it's been a while since we've seen Clayton as a villain, so let's see if he's learned anything. Let's see if he's using any Parker Industries tech to get around Spider-Man. I can't wait. Alright, so that is where the issue ends. But it's going to be crazy, like what's going to happen. And according to the next issue, I think they're actually going to team up against something else that's a bigger threat. Maybe Ulysses has a bigger vision or something. Who knows? And you can really see that Clayton doesn't exactly want to be a villain, but it was really strange how he just woke up the next morning and he was like, you know what, I've made my mind up. But this issue really gets you feeling for his character and like how his life is. Like, look at his parents, for example. They're not exactly the most supportive people in the world. And you can tell that that's kind of pushed him towards being a villain in the past, and that's why he is where he is now. Poor Clayton. Hopefully now that Peter's giving him a raise and stuff like that, maybe things will turn around. Maybe that's why they team up in the next issue. If they do, I mean, I don't know. As for what rating I'd give it, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. I don't know why I always go for 8 out of 10. 7 is like average, but I always see comics in like their own comic. Like, I don't compare them to anything else really. So as a single issue, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I especially love the beginning with Peter Parker taking down that like mechanized robot or whatever it was, because it's shown Peter using his wits and kind of like the intelligence that he's learnt from owning Parker Industries. So it was really nice to see that. I forget what's the word, crossover into Spider-Man. And now it's time to end the video. But guys, if you want to become a patron, support the channel, support these reviews, then it is very much appreciated. But honestly, you guys being subscribed is perfectly fine for me, honestly. But if you want to check it out, see if there's anything there that you like, such as like early reviews or free comics every week or anything like that, check it out. And don't forget, if you like this video, then hit the like button because it lets me know that you guys are enjoying these kind of videos. And hit the subscribe button if you want to stick around. I'll see you later, guys.